I'm MarzGurl.
I'm JoshKnightTheFirst.
And welcome to episode 122 of MokkoriPlay, the only podcast dedicated solely to all things City Hunter.
On today's podcast, we're going to cover Season 3, Episode 6 of City Hunter, titled Stubborn Umibozu, Tale of the Jealous Kitten.
It's been
a minute.
Been a little while. Man, life got way busier than I ever expected.
Guys, life, alright? We had a very busy August.
You don't understand what the workload was like.
For both of us.
It was kind of insane. I was up for several nights in a row doing work.
For several weeks.
Being very unhappy, and near tears. Things were pretty bad for a while.
Yeah, I had my own stuff to do, working overtime, and covering conventions and things like that, so it's been a minute for a good reason.
Okay, but we're back. In pod form.
In podcast form.
Pod form.
In pod form.
In pod form.
Yes. And we're here to talk to you again about more City Hunter. So one thing that did happen while we were out that we want to talk about here up at the top is that over at Anime NYC like a week or two back from when we're recording this, they did get to have the American debut of City Hunter Angel Dust.
Which, bummer, it was all the way over in New York. I would have gone. I would have watched the movie again with subtitles.
Yes.
That would have been nice.
Because again, we saw it almost a year ago now.
Yes.
And our understanding of Japanese is enough to have gotten us through the movie and just being familiar with what the plot was going to cover, but still subs would be preferable.
Sure.
A dub even more so. Everybody there seemed to enjoy it.
Mike Toole of Discotech got to see it, and Discotech releases all this other City Hunter stuff.
So by this point, we have been reporting, you guys have been hearing us talk about it for the longest time now. We were supposed to get something in April.
From that UK distributor, right?
Well, that was a damn lie.
I guess.
So at this point, yeah, my money's back on Discotech, just like they did for Shinjuku Private Eyes. Come on, guys, we know you'll pull through. Just do what you do.
Unless that other distributor is literally sitting on that license now, they wholly intended to do it and then it's just sitting there.
In which case, I would like Discotech to come to the rescue.
You think they can get it from them directly?
I don't see how they couldn't.
They've
saved weirder, more niche things before.
Yeah, but those are things whose licenses have run out. This is a thing that somebody bought the rights to this. They have the rights to this.
Do we know that for sure? Or are we just going on word of mouth from what they said? And they haven't made good on anything. They haven't made good on jack.
My understanding is that company is well known for that, too. You just don't hear anything about the things they license for, a year up to 2 years.
That's too long.
And this is just normal for them.
At this rate, Aniplex will announce the next installment before we even get to see this one.
I know. It's a bummer.
I'll go back to Japan and watch the next installment. I'm more than happy to do that. I would just like to understand the installment previous in my native tongue.
Sure.
That's all we want.
I know.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. If we actually hear anything from them, at this point, they're dead to me. I wasn't endeared to them. I'm endeared to Discotech. Discotech has my money on a lot of things.
Oh, I know.
There's stuff that they're still waiting to put on pre-order. There's at least 3 Blu-ray sets that they have my money on immediately.
Oh, for sure.
That's where I'm at right now. I want them to take my money for more City Hunter.
I know. It would just be nice for the uniformity of...
Right, exactly.
They do the packaging correctly. It's all gonna
They know
look
what
like
they're doing.
It's all gonna look like it belongs together. So
right. So here's hoping. But that having been said, let's go ahead and actually get back to doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Because it's been a minute, and we're gonna talk to you guys about this week's episode, which mentions a jealous kitten in the title. The kitten has nothing to do with the plot,
the kitten
or
also,
very little to do with the plot.
Kitten's also not jealous.
No.
The kitten is not jealous at all, I don't think.
As somebody who didn't start out, admittedly, as a cat person, I can tell just from the animation, this is not a jealous kitten. This is a kitten that's just full of love.
This kitten just wants to love Umibozu. And I think that's true of almost all of the cats that Umibozu comes across. I think cats just like him.
Well, because it's what do you call it? The cat distribution system?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. A cat picks you. That's just how life works.
Right, and Umibozu just has not given in to the part of the universe that wants him to own a cat. That's all that is.
Clearly, the universe has been trying to gift him with cats for years now.
The universe is trying to talk to him. We would like you to have a cat. And Umibozu's over here I didn't sign up for that. But we'll go ahead and start here at the beginning of the episode with a cat having shown up at the back of Cat's Eye. And apparently Miki and Kasumi, who you guys might remember as being now recurring character, this phantom thief who got out of the life and then she was going to get married off to some douchebag and Rio helped her with that. Well, now she works at Cat's Eye.
I mean, that's a more stable job for somebody in her, like, early 20s now.
Right.
Like,
she's like, what, 21?
She's like 20, 21?
Somewhere around there,
yeah.
right?
Because she's in college now, right?
I believe that's where we last heard of her.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's there working at Cat's Eye. She tells Cowdy as she's coming in, you know, because Cowdy frequents Cat's Eye. They need some business.
Right.
That they've taken in this cat and they have named the cat after Raymond Chandler's cat, Taki. So the cat is named Taki, but we're gonna have to take a second here because not everybody knows who the hell Raymond Chandler is.
Yeah, I had to look up Raymond Chandler. So he was a novelist and actually did really important books that I was not really super familiar with. They got turned into films.
Yes, if you're familiar with the character Philip Marlowe, a very famous detective character, Raymond Chandler wrote a lot of those books. You know, The Long Goodbye, The Big Sleep, other books in that line.
And those got film adaptations.
And Japan loves the hell out of those books.
I guess so, because they are very directly referencing that novelist and his cat. I had to look up, did he really have a cat named Taki? He sure did, and he wrote a big old letter to somebody about, now I'm gonna tell you about my 14-year-old cat Taki and how I call her my secretary. I call her my secretary because she sits on all of my papers, and then she looks out the window like you're just wasting my time. And like, it's a big letter.
I mean, it's written like a cat owner.
It's written like a guy who, like, became very, very fond of a cat.
But no, Kasumi's explained to Cowdy, you know, did they explain, is Taki a girl or a guy?
I think it's a girl cat.
All right, then I'm going to say that. Did you know she's a rescue? Yeah, we found her out back. And of course, Cowdy knows better. She's asking Kasumi, well, wait, is Umibozu okay with this? Does he know? Kasumi tells her, no, he's out shopping right now. And you were telling me, because I don't remember this part of the stage play, this is referenced in the Takarazuka production?
Yeah, pretty early on. I think this whole scene kind of plays out, in fact, along with the cat and everything. Because Umibozu is not in Cat's Eye, and Miki says, oh, Umibozu's out right now, he's gone shopping. And Umibozu really doesn't want people to know that he goes shopping, because I guess that's not a masculine thing to do, is going grocery shopping.
The way it comes across, it can be one of two things. Either one, like he's got some toxic masculinity thing going on, right? Or the other being, he's so in his own mind about being stealthy and being a sweeper that he doesn't want people to know his location. But
yeah, that
if you're Umibozu, that's really hard for people not to notice you, as we've seen in multiple episodes when he's tried to be incognito.
But I think it's a masculinity thing, because Kaori says here in this episode, oh, you'd never see Ryo doing something like that, or something to that effect. So I think it's about, oh, well, you got the good man that'll go out and do grocery shopping.
Well, like, no, Ryo will go shopping, but just for him.
Yeah, he's not thinking about Kaori's needs at all. He's gonna come back with all this steak, and then he's gonna expect Kaori to make the steak for him.
Oh yeah, he does that. We've seen that on multiple occasions. But it's just at that moment that Umibozu comes back to Cat's Eye, and this little Persian, is like grayish Persian cat.
Kind of brownish, grayish, yeah, it's fluffy, it's very fluffy.
Big old blue eyes.
Yeah.
Just the happiest it could be, just jumps up on Umibozu, like, oh, you're home. And like, cats will do that, you know, when they're accustomed to you.
Yeah.
This cat, as far as we're aware, has not been around Umibozu that long, so it jumps on him like, I have claimed you. You are my person.
But Umibozu just does not understand this, and he's terrified, and he's so scared his sunglasses just crack, and they will remain cracked for half this episode.
Yes.
Like, exactly half this episode, in fact.
And he drops this bag of groceries that he's got, and he's got not really, like, he's got food you would get at the grocery store, but it's not really anything in particular. Like, what's he dropping here? He's dropping bread, an apple, grape jelly, which we noticed, it says grape jelly, but there's clearly whole...
Grapes.
Grapes.
Just grapes
White
in
grapes
a jar.
In here. Yeah.
Full ground grapes inside a jar.
Do-it-yourself jelly. Is what he's got here. Potato chips, knockoff latte gum, which is supposed to be like Lotte.
Yeah.
There's a brand of gum over there. Condensed milk, cookies, mastered, not mustard, mastered.
Mastered with an A, and gnats. not nuts. Like, they're like macadamia or pistachios.
They're pistachios, yeah.
But it's just a bag of gnats. Which I would not buy gnats at the store.
No.
That's like the opposite of what I would bring home into my kitchen.
And all three women are just looking at him lying on the floor there, terrified of this cat. And it's so bad that I guess Umibozu must have left the door open when he knocked all this food over, that at least 4 comedy crows come flying in the background.
A gaggle of crows.
A murder of comedy crows.
A murder of comedy
is
crows.
what we're saying to you. So, Coyote's asking, so are you going to keep it? Are you guys going to hold on to this cat? Like, I understand what's going on here. Umibozu keeps this face going of like, no, it's not that I hate cats. I hate their weakness. I hate what it represents, and I can't stand it.
This is bullshit.
No, that is such a damn lie.
What a front. It's not true. And Miki's really insistent, like, this cat doesn't have a home. We gotta take care of this cat, but this cat has once again decided, I sure do like Umibozu. I would like to come up and be around Umibozu. And Umibozu's just too terrified. He's just not having this.
So, they had some kind of a fight. We're finding out about this after the fact, right? So, Umibozu has taken off and given Miki an ultimatum, it's me or the cat. And so he's just bolted.
It's kind of a shitty thing to do to a person. I mean, at least, like, it was a new addition. It was very sudden. It wasn't like Miki has had this cat for a while and this guy comes into her life like, oh, well, you gotta get rid of the cat if you're gonna be with me. Like, that would have been I would never have committed to something like that. But, so now she's got to figure out a new living situation for this cat. Fine.
So the way we find this out is that Miki has gone to blow off some steam by throwing darts over at Coyote and Ryo's apartment. Like, she's over there venting to Coyote that this is how this went down.
Yeah.
And Umibozu's pissed, but he's just like, he's off at a pachinko parlor, which apparently he's really good at.
There's just stacks and stacks and stacks of these plastic bins full of pachinko balls that he has won, and everybody's looking at him like, holy shit, look at this. This guy's just won all of these pachinko balls. And like, if he really wanted to, he could go do the slightly illegal thing and turn in all these pachinko balls and get a shit ton of money. Just jumping ahead, he does not do that.
Right.
But
obviously Miki's not happy with this. She doesn't want to be given this ultimatum. She doesn't necessarily want to ditch the cat.
And Umibozu should be nicer about this because that cat loves him. He should take the cat's feelings into consideration.
She's just kind of venting aloud to Coyote, like, I wish I could just change his mind. I wish he was different somehow. Which Ryo overhears this, and he immediately jumps to, oh, you want him to be different, so you just need a different man. Like me. Yes, so you want to go upstairs, fool around?
And she's like, no, I do not.
And she, like, judo throws him into the picnic furniture that he has there in the living room.
And she's like, so I'm gonna leave. Oh, where are you going? On a date? Actually, yes. Bye.
And everybody's like, wait, what? we were just joking. We didn't mean that. And Ryo's there thinking, wait a minute. I'm perfectly good man material right here. I could fill in that spot. I'm gonna go follow her like a creep.
Well, Kaori says, no, you are not, and throws more darts at the door and just sticks Ryo to the door around, like, his jacket. And she's like, you're gonna stay right here. You're just gonna make this worse. Okay, bye. And she just leaves him on the door while she walks out.
And now Coyote's followed Miki to this seemingly nice restaurant, like Restaurant Paris, I think was what it was called, or something like that. And she's peeking in through the window, and sure enough, there's this kind of skeezy looking guy. He's in a tux, but he doesn't look all that great.
Nah, he's got this long hair. It's tied back in a ponytail. Nah, this guy's gross.
Yeah, he's kind of rich but gross, which is exactly what he is.
Yeah.
Like, we see him for what he is.
He's got a bouquet of flowers, and to me, like, if I'm Miki, she thinks she's going there actually not as a date. Like, she was kind of joking with them.
Right.
When they were asking, oh, is it a date? And she's like, yes. She thinks she's picking up a job.
Well, no, when she says date, she's, like, playing with a point appointment. I have an appointment here.
Yeah.
And so this guy, who we find out his name is Itaro Samonji, it's kind of a weird name, but, it's whatever. He's talking with Miki here about this job of sorts. He won't specify what's going on, but he's saying, well, we've almost got full approval for this. I just need you to go talk with my mother. I need her approval to make sure this all goes down right. So we need you to come with us right now.
And this is where I think Miki is incredibly naive. Now, she's a pretty young woman, so I think she might have just not had a lot of experience.
We've been over this before, right? Miki's older than Kaori, right?
I'm not sure. She might be, but maybe only by a couple of years. Because
I think if Kaori's, at this point, Kaori's like 21, 22, then I think Miki's only about 25, 26.
At best. But, Miki is acting really naive.
Well, it's more like she knows better, but she's kind of still going along with it, even though some part of her is like, this is skeezy. Like, she's ignoring that.
Yeah, but, you know what I would not do after a guy has given me a bunch of flowers, even though I didn't say this was a date, and he says he wants me to go meet his mother, even though I said this wasn't a date. You know what I would not do? Get in that man's car. That is a thing that I would not do. Miki is not me, however.
See, I'll get real for a second on that. One of the first girls I ever went out with, I had that issue come up where very, very, very early, the second date, she's like, I can't wait for you to meet my family. And I'm like, we just went... we just hung out at a pool party for a few minutes, and now you want me to meet you? That's real quick. Yeah, that didn't last more than a week. That didn't go very far.
That's funny.
It was 2 dates. Because, there's something to that. There's something that goes off, and it's no, let's do us for a little bit, and then if I want to meet your family or you want to meet mine, let's wait for a little bit on that. Don't jump to that.
The fact that this guy is not explaining what the job is before he says, come to my house and meet my mom.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wouldn't do it. I would say, no, I'm not going to take this job unless you tell me what this job is.
Yeah, this job is SUS. That's what's going on here.
Uh-huh.
And thankfully, Kaori sees her get in the car with this guy and take off. And so Kaori jets back to Cat's Eye to try and fill everybody else in on this.
But also, Miki has looked out the window and saw Kaori watching. So she at least knows that somebody important back home knows that she's gone. Maybe she feels better about it, knowing that Kaori knows she has gotten in this car.
So over back at Cat's Eye, Ryo is there trying to fool around with Kasumi, and they're, just doing what they do. Kaori isn't around, so Ryo's trying to play, and Kasumi's not having that, which is because she's smart. And Ryo's there trying to hit her with, come on, baby, Umibozu's not around, you need a man here at the shop. And, Umibozu just busts through the wall,
He rips the door off of its hinges, taking some of the red brick along with it.
What'd you say, boy? He's like, oh, you're back. Oh, I better get in some gropes now. And he, ducks behind the bar, and Umibozu goes after the bar, reaching over to try and grab Ryo.
But it's at that moment, there's these two dudes standing at the front door that has now been ripped off and ripped open, and they have taken pictures. They've got a camera, and there's a flash and the shutter sound, and, and Umibozu turns around and he's like, huh? And then he sees these two guys in suits, and they're like, oh shit, gotta run.
They're out of nowhere paparazzi just showed up to take a picture of what looks like Umibozu reaching over the bar to get Kasumi, because you can't see Ryo anymore, he's under the bar, and they've just bolted. And no sooner do they bolt, the Kaori comes in guys, you gotta hear about this. And before she can fill him in, the scene now goes over to this mansion where this guy Itaro is, and we're introduced to his mom, Haruko, who's got that old lady voice this is my son.
It's a really low, gravelly, kind of grainy, scratchy
very scratchy.
Voice.
Even though she says she's in her 40s, I am to assume she is lying.
Yeah, she's at least 50s. She's real thin, though. This woman doesn't eat.
And she's the one to go ahead and fill Miki in on what the job is. The job, to her surprise, is marriage. You're here to marry my son, and we're making sure you're good enough material for this family.
Were we really surprised? The answer is no. Nobody watching this is actually surprised that that's what this is, because clearly that's exactly what this was leading up to, but Miki's like, what? Oh, God.
Like, you should have known better.
This lady, oh my God.
And she's like over here telling her, well, we've investigated your so-called man, and he's not who you think he is. And you should marry my boy because he said he wanted you, and that's good enough for me.
That's all I needed to hear. So now you're gonna stay here until you decide to stay here, and then you're here.
like there's not a, like, she says there's a choice, but there's no choice here. Like, you're here against your will until you're here of your own free will. Like, what is that?
Yeah, that's how that goes. And she's like, no, I'm gonna leave. But then Mom's like, oh, no, you're not. We've got security guards. Here's the 2 security guards. They've come back very quickly. Unless they're just more security guards, which I guess that's possible.
No, she's got more guards.
Okay. And then she's like, if you try to leave, you will be hit by lasers. I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean? You're gonna be hit by lasers. You're not gonna be able to leave because of the lasers.
Like, what is that? What part of The Bachelor is this?
The Bachelor where the Bachelorettes can't even leave because lasers.
And now we're going to fill in your so-called man, that he's no longer your so-called man. So as Cowdy is back at Cat's Eye filling in everybody on all this shit, like, oh my god, she left with some rich guy, oh my god, she's really leaving Umibozu, ah! And Umibozu's like, no, she's not. She wouldn't do that. It's none of my business if she does that. She's a grown-ass woman.
His sunglasses, by the way, are still broken, okay? He also came back from the pachinko parlor with a ton of prizes. Like I said earlier, he didn't turn in his pachinko balls for money. He just turned it in for random-ass shit.
Like a
toys,
pen.
A pen that, like, you can change the color of the ink.
You guys know which one we're talking about. It's
the
thick one. It's got like 5 different colors on there, like blue, black, pink. You know, those different colors, like a little knockoff Godzilla, and a cup of, it looks like cup of soup, like a cup noodle.
Oh yeah, it's just called fiber noodle. That sounds like the grossest instant noodles I could possibly imagine.
Like you pick that shit up at Whole Foods kind of thing.
But no, they get a phone call now, okay? And it's a phone call from Lady Ma'am, the mom, calling saying, hey, put Umibozu on the line. Yeah, this is Umibozu, I'm on the line.
And the mom's over here like, hey, we got your girl, but she ain't your girl no more.
We're gonna send you a blank check, write in however much money you want. We don't care what the number is, just stay out of her life.
And, like, this is the most, like, rich asshole-coded a villain has been in this episode in a very long time.
For a Japanese woman, sure.
Yeah. Like, we'll just pay you. We'll ice you. It doesn't matter. Just name your price. We've got that. She's only worth so much.
But Umibozu is like, is this really what Miki wanted? And she doesn't say yes. She just goes, oh, well, we've got everything here that she could possibly want. What else could she want? Bye!
Click. Cowdy's like, oh my god, like, Ryo is, like, eavesdropping, you know, everybody's now up to date on what's happening. Cowdy's like, oh my god, are you okay with that, Umibozu? And he's just fronting real hard. It's not my call. She's a grown woman. She can do what she wants. I gotta go. And he leaves. And Cowdy's just, like, yelling after him, you idiot, what are you doing? You can't be doing this.
You really think that she actually wants this?
But Umibozu's not trying to hear that, so he goes out to his cabin in the woods that we've seen a couple of times.
Yeah, so now he's finally gotten back to where he keeps, I guess, an abundance of extra sunglasses, because now we've seen he's set down his broken, scared cat sunglasses, and now he's wearing brand new sunglasses. He's just got more sunglasses.
And he's kind of inwardly monologuing to himself, like, this might be the best thing for her. She could have a chance at a normal life and a normal marriage and not be in my world of violence.
He says as he's knocking back liquor.
His liquor.
Yeah, his liquor. His bottled liquor.
And then Cowdy and Ryo show up and they're like, are you sure about that?
And he's like, what are you doing here? And they're like, we know where you live, man. We've been here.
Yeah, like we've been up here before. We had barbecues, you don't remember? And here, Ryo has done this before, and I don't know whether or not Umibozu's just stupid or he's just playing along for whatever reason he decides to. But Ryo's doing the same line he's done before. Like, they've done this kind of episode before.
Sure.
Where Ryo basically has to front even harder that he wants to bang Miki and that he has has a chance with Miki.
And maybe part of him does, because he's just attracted to anybody, but he's really just trying to be a motivator to get Umibozu to knock it the fuck off.
Right, exactly.
Get off his ass and go do something.
He's out here telling him, hey, a Mokkori man goes out there and takes love. They just grab love by the ass and they just hold on tight. So I'm gonna go after Miki's ass. I'm gonna go right now. That's what I would do, and I'm going.
Here I go, bye. And he runs off, and Umibozu's gonna shoot him, and Kaori jumps in the way like, no, don't shoot him. And he's like, what do you mean? Are you on his side for him to just run on up and take the woman that I care about? And she's like, no, don't you understand that Miki maybe probably wants you to just go up there and save her? And he's like, no, she doesn't. She can get out on her own if she wants. And Kaori's like, I guess you don't understand women then, because sometimes women just want the guy to come and save them just so that she knows that he would do that for her.
I got that problem with Ryo. I mean, what? I mean, you should just go do it. Like, she's your partner, right? You want to make sure she's happy, right? Go check on her, you big dummy.
And, like, we cut away for a bit, so we don't really know right away what Umibozu decides to do. But, we'll find out
very shortly, because now we're back at the mansion, and we see that Miki is being kept in this room, this very nice luxury room like you see in like a high-end Las Vegas hotel or something.
But it's behind the biggest door, just the thickest,
bank
like it's at a bank vault, yeah. And it's got like a timer lock, and so like a guard has opened the door, and in walks Ponytail Rich Boy.
Yeah, Itaro walks in, and he's like, hey, so how do you like your digs? Do you like it here? We're very rich. And she's like, no, I want to leave.
But I have all of these dresses for you, and even this nice underwear. I don't know why he decided it was important to point out the underwear, but he's a fucking weirdo, so I guess whatever. Also, by the way, have you seen this photograph of Umibozu grabbing your friend's ass? This is the kind of person he actually is. Do you believe me now, and wouldn't you like to stay here? And she goes, no, because I don't believe that this is really him. I'm gonna rip up this picture and I'm gonna leave. No, you're not gonna leave. We're both locked in here together
until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, so you better get comfy, baby. And it's like,
even I can't get out.
Like, I'm over here thinking, like, so they say they did investigations and homework into Umibozu, but all they did was figure out, yeah, that's him. And they didn't figure out anything else about him.
Like, they don't know what kind of a dude he is and what he's capable of. They're just like, oh, he's just this big gorilla. And that's about it. He's just a big chump, and we can just buy him off. They just didn't even stop to do the research and go, would he come and storm our house?
Exactly. Does he own weapons that are illegal in this country? Are we thinking about that? Have we considered the implications? As this is going down, like, Itaro's, like, trying to creep up on her, and she's like, you back the hell up, otherwise I'll, like, chop you in half, because I know self-defense, and she does. The mom is watching by CCTV this whole time.
Which is kind of fucking weird, because, like, what if Miki said, oh, okay, I'll totally stay, and then they're in this bedroom together all night, and the mom's just gonna watch what happens? Are you serious?
Is the mom, like, cucking her own son? Is that even a thing?
I don't think that's what cuck means. So,
well, you know what I'm trying to say. Like, this.
No, she likes to watch.
Yeah, there's something weird about the mom too.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of those, like, rich mom situations where she's a little too involved in her son's future.
Yeah.
You know, like,
even Miki earlier was like, oh my god, I slapped her son in the face and he went running to his mom, and she, like, rolls her eyes at, like, ugh, what a mama's boy.
The good news is that Ryo has figured out where they are, like, who these people are. They could just look up, oh, here they are on the phone book, let's go. So, Ryo's there at the front of their mansion, which seems to have, like, reinforced walls and
barbed wire
across the top.
And he's like, I'm just gonna climb over the wall and under the barbed wire. I would do it for my boner anytime. But it turns out he doesn't need to climb over that wall, because somebody is firing an RPG directly into the wall. And now there's no more wall. But
Thanks, Umibozu.
But there are sirens going off now. And Ryo's like, what did you do that for? I was trying to get in all quiet shinobi-like.
And Umibozu's like, I don't play that shit. And so now, this is how you know they're actually best friends, right?
Right.
Because they go into this next part without a word having been said between the two of them. There's so much nonverbal communication here. The both of them start getting mad at each other, very in character between the two of them. Like, this is how people think we act between the two of us. And they start firing their weapons at each other.
Because Ryo's like, haha, I'm gonna go get Miki first. And Umibozu's like, oh no, you're not. And then they start shooting at each other. And if they wanted to hit each other,
they could
have. But they're like firing multiple rounds and seemingly, quote unquote, missing. They are not missing. They are knocking out the CCTV cameras, the security cameras that are all around the perimeter of this house.
And remember, lasers.
And also there's lasers. Why does this house have lasers?
They've got that kind of money.
But also these cameras, for some reason, like 90% of them have Sunrise written all over them.
Just so you guys remember that Sunrise is out here producing these episodes.
Animating these episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
We can't let you forget.
They have to name drop themselves as many times as possible. Wait, there's a phone call that happened sometime earlier in this episode, right? Or has it not happened
we
yet?
forgot to mention that, yeah.
When did that phone call happen?
When they called Umibozu to tell him we got your girl.
Oh, yeah, like another self-referential thing that Sunrise has done, right? I have to go back and mention this.
Yeah, thank God you remembered. Okay, so when they call Umibozu to tell him we've got Miki, here's your blank check in the mail, you can see there on the screen there for the phone, because it's a digital phone.
It's a digital phone, and a lot of those digital phones would, like, say the date.
Like an office phone,
Yeah,
right?
like an office phone.
The date on the phone reads 1989-11-19.
Which is literally the air date of this episode. And, like, I'm blown away that they knew the exact air date that this episode was going to air while they were animating it, because I feel like nowadays you don't necessarily know nearly as well. Like, delays could fuck that all up. Like, there's any number of other things that could get in the way.
You could get delayed by golf. That happens. Golf delays are real, and they could happen to your favorite show.
Yeah.
But here, no, they were on a very tight schedule. Like, no, we're getting this out on the 19th.
They must have, like, just wrapped animating that episode that week and then gone like, oh my god, here it is!
Get it in there.
Right on time.
That's a very specific reference. They've done that a couple of times now.
Yeah,
Where we can see the date somewhere in the background. But here, no, so they've taken out all the CCTV cameras.
All the Sunrise cameras.
And the mother's like, take care of this. I'm gonna go off and wait for you guys to do this like I'm a James Bond villain. So she goes off to her own room. She gets a knock at the door. Like, I told you to come in quietly. Ryo and Umibozu are the ones knocking like, say what?
And she goes, oh, you're not my guards. Wait, where are my guards?
They all got kicked to sleep.
Just at some point off screen, Ryo and Umibozu have stormed in through this entire house and knocked out every single guard on the way up.
Which isn't the first time they've done that.
I mean, we've watched them knock out guards before.
But no, I'm saying that this isn't the first time we've seen just a smash cut
to
like 14 guys just on the floor. One guy being like, I quit. I'm finding other lines of work.
Literally, that's what he's saying.
Umibozu's getting up in Lady's face like, I'm not gonna tell you again, where's my woman? And she's like, oh, okay. Next room, right next to us.
Right through that door.
And Ryo's like, oh, thank you. And they walk in there into a dark, pitch black room, no lights on.
They lock them into that room too, because they've got lots of these big old safe rooms.
Big ass rooms, and Ryo's there realizing, did we walk into a trap? Is that what we did? And he's kind of saying that in this nonchalant way that's like, oh, whatever it is, we can get out of it, because it's the two of us. But then the lights come on, and it turns out
it's a room full of women, all dressed up like cat girls. Or at least with ears. I don't know that they have tails, but they do have, like, that very Playboy bunny kind of nice button collar bunny suit looking, but they're cat ears instead of bunny ears, okay, like...
And the wall says Mokkori Bar.
And Ryo has fallen for it pretty quickly. Whereas Umibozu is just standing there frozen because he's not very good with women at all. And they're like all climbing all over these men, but Umibozu is just very uncomfortable.
And the thing of it is, I'm trying to figure figured out, like, again, the family only did so much digging into who Umibozu is. This is a trap they designed for Umibozu, and they don't know his relationship to women.
They didn't take into consideration that Ryo would come, because it seems like...
This would be a better trap for Ryo.
Which is what happened.
But, like, that happened by accident.
You think that was an accident?
I think that was an accident.
Okay.
They weren't looking up who City Hunter was.
No, I guess not.
And so it turns out that this room that they're in now, Ryo, Umibozu, and all these cat girls, are right next to...
It's adjacent, conveniently.
Conveniently next door to the room that Itaro and Miki are in currently. And so Itaro hits a button and a window comes down, revealing Umibozu on the other side.
And it's a one-way mirror. They call it a magic mirror, but I mean...
Same difference.
It's a one-way mirror. So, but Umibozu, because it's a one-way mirror, can't necessarily see through it. Even though, in real life, if you've ever seen them, you can see through them if you, like, look closely enough.
Well, it depends on the quality of the mirror,
I guess that's true.
And so Itaro's pushing the same bullshit again, like, see how your man really is? You should stay with me, because I'm rich and I'm not him.
Just because women are in the room doesn't mean anything. He's not doing anything. This is like politicians who are like, oh, men shouldn't be alone in rooms with women. That's just inappropriate. Like, they just think that something inappropriate will happen because a man can't handle himself if he were to be alone with a woman.
And
like,
literally, it's like, no, that guy's right next to him over on the couch. You see him right now?
These are two different kinds of people entirely. Like, you're just not thinking of men as possibly being unique individuals from one another.
Because the guy you're talking about is literally down to his skivvies on the couch right now. Like, that guy's over there.
And it's not Umibozu.
But Miki sees that he's there, and she tries pounding on the wall.
On the window, yeah.
On the window, yeah. And Itaro's telling her, there's no way he can hear you. That's triple reinforced glass. Sound won't get through. There's no way he's gonna know.
And I don't know that Umibozu necessarily actually heard, or if he's just really suspicious of, what's that mirror doing there? I think I'm gonna go break it.
But he goes over to this mirror, and he, like, I forget which episode it was. It was...
Of what?
It's this episode with the 12th Doctor where he has to punch through a diamond mountain to get through, and it takes him like a million billion years. It's that kind of shit where he's just punching and punching and punching until he breaks through this glass.
Well, because the guy at first is like, oh, even if he knew you were back here, he can't get through the glass because it's this reinforced blah-de-blah, even guns can't get through it. But Umibozu has punched his way just with his knuckles aren't even bloody or anything. He's just punched his way through reinforced glass.
But the thing about it is, like, this should be a very romantic scene, seemingly, right?
Sure,
because this is Umibozu trying to reach out and find the woman that actually means the most to him, right?
Right.
So there should be some sweeping music, something really heartfelt right here. No, you know what music they're playing right here? That damn accordion music is back.
French-sounding accordion music that they've been playing. I mean, at least they're consistent, okay? They have played this music, I think, since episode 1. I think it's in episode 1. They just keep using it. It's crazy. I hate that track.
No, it's my least favorite BGM in the entire show.
Yeah.
Because it never fits any scene it's in.
No. What is it supposed to go to naturally? What would it naturally...
A French cafe is what it would go to. Like, we're out here eating baguettes and stuff. Like, no, that's not what's going on here.
But a slightly goofy, mysterious French cafe.
Yeah.
Like, an uncomfortably French cafe.
But yeah, Umibozu is punched through and he's like, alright, I'm here.
Miki's like, well, what took you so long? I've been waiting here for you.
And he's like, my bad.
Sorry. And she's like, okay, I forgive you. You did come. Alright, let's go. And they just walk out. The two of them. They just leave. And you know who doesn't? Ryo. Ryo does not go with them. And they didn't, like... check. They didn't turn around and be like, "Hey, Ryo, we're gonna go."
Well, I mean, this wouldn't be the first time that Miki and Umibozu just bounce. Because, like, you remember in 357 Magnum when they were over at their place for dinner. Once they got into stuff, they just left. Like, Ryo's
like
hanging
couples do. That's how you know they're a couple, because they talk amongst themselves. Like, so we're just gonna go, right?
Yeah, like, once we're done eating, like, let's just go. Like, take a plate, and we're just gonna go. Like, Umibozu's telling the lady, alright, we're out of here. And Ryo's, like, happy. because
why would I leave?
Because for whatever reason, Cowdy didn't come with them tonight.
I guess because she was too busy saying, "Go, Umibozu, go protect your woman," or whatever.
But like every other time that's happened, Cowdy's been there for like moral support or to like see what happens. This time she didn't. And like, it's the next day, right?
And she's at Cat's Eye, and Umibozu's back, and Miki's back. Kaori's like, "Oh, well, I'm so glad you're back."
Before she asks about it, she's like, "Hey, wait, where's the cat? Where's Taki at? Oh, we finally decided to just give it to Kasumi."
Okay, great. So we didn't see this cat for hardly 5 minutes at best.
I think 3 minutes
Maybe
in total.
3 minutes.
The cat was so not a part of this plot hardly at all.
No.
But no, after she checks on the cat, and that's where you know her priorities are at. She asked about the cat first.
And then is like, "You know who I haven't seen in a while? Ryo.
My roommate, who I'm secretly in love with.
Where's that guy at?" And Miki and Umibozu have to look at each other like, "Oh, we didn't even think about him but before we left. I mean, last time we saw him, he was back at that house. I don't know, sorry."
And then those two guards from earlier, the guys who took the paparazzi photo, they're like, "Are you Cowdy Makimura?"
"Can you please come with us?" They don't really ask politely. They're just like, "Get in the car," which sounds really bad until you jump cut back to the house. And the mom and the rich son are just crying, and they've brought suitcases full of money.
At least 2 really big-ass suitcases.
Up to Ryo, and they're like, "God, how much do we have to pay you to leave? Just go away.
Just get the hell out. Get out of our house. Please.
We will give you literally however much money you want." And Ryo's like, "Well then great, I guess I'll just stay, and I'll stay here and be happy and keep getting money, because you'll keep trying to give me more money to get me out of here."
Like, that's the weirdest thing about it. How did that go down? Like, let me get through this first, and I'm gonna jump back to this. And he's there saying, "Why would I ever leave? I've got money and I've got babes." And it's at that moment that Cowdy has come to retrieve his ass and drag him home.
Because I guess that was their only other recourse, right? Was like, if we can't pay him to leave, we somehow have learned that Kaori is the only person who can make him do anything.
But, okay, for one thing, that's a convenience thing, because they weren't looking into Ryo at all.
Right,
They don't know
right.
who this guy is, and so they have to, like, real quickly research, okay, who is this guy? I think he's City Hunter. Okay, how does City Hunter work?
Shit, we should have looked this guy up before we put him in the room full of women.
It's like, oh no, we've let the shark loose in the chum factory, the bull is loose in the china shop, Ryo is loose in the panty store. Like, that's what's going on here. You've given him literally everything he wants. You've given him a bar, you've given him a couch, and you've given him about 20 women in cat girl suits. What made you think he was gonna go anywhere?
And then you started offering him money, and he's like, "I will never leave."
And it's like, Cowdy waited all night, and we've seen other episodes where she's like, "Oh god, I'm so worried, what could have happened to him?" This time, no. He was gone for like 18 hours, or something like that.
Sometimes you're just sick of a guy.
I mean, maybe, but like, that's on you, Cowdy, quite honestly. Like, he was having a good-ass time, perfectly fine with consenting women, just drinking and having fun.
Unless they were also locked in there against their will, and they just have to perform like this because they're in a locked room.
I mean, we don't know that the room was locked necessarily, because neither Ryo or Umibozu try to get out.
Oh, I guess
like, the
if
closest
you have
you
to
get,
be that literal.
Because the closest you get is Umibozu breaking the glass, going into the next room, and then somehow leaving because that door was locked, like time locked. So how did Umibozu get out? Did they go out the first room?
Maybe he punched his way through the reinforced steel door.
I mean, he's gone through walls. He's the character capable of clipping through walls.
Yes.
So Umibozu could have gotten out. I mean, obviously he got out.
But if he did get out, then Ryo also could have just taken the same way that Umibozu just opened up for him.
But like we've just established, Ryo has literally no reason to leave.
Right.
And that's where the episode ends, is that Ryo was in paradise for several hours, and then he got dragged back to reality.
Sorry, buddy.
Like, it can happen to you, but not for very long.
Alright, you had your fun. Time to go home.
And that's the
Flying
episode.
to the sunrise.
And so, yeah, Yeah, this episode kind of does, like, we've said this before about the season, its greatest hits. We've seen this before.
Sort of, yeah. But you know what? This episode did it pretty well, because this is a fun episode, even though, man, I'm sad about the cat. Like
it's a real cute cat.
That cat loved
What was it, a Persian, they said? Or we looked it up, it was probably a Persian?
Well, I mean, the author's cat was a Persian cat.
And this is a real fluffy cat.
This
so,
is
I mean,
a very
it
fluffy
kind of
cat.
like a Persian.
Yeah, I guess.
I've seen cats that act exactly like that cat.
Oh yeah, cats, if they really love you, like, that's the thing that people who don't love cats, that don't know anything about cats, they don't know how to recognize when a cat loves somebody.
Like, I'll say this about our cats, specifically with you this week, was
Yeah.
Doomtrain, right? Doomtrain has been giving you that look, like, when I come home from work and I see her doting on you.
Yeah.
I've seen a cat give that look to a human before. Like, that's love.
Yeah, like, just batting their eyes like, I will never love anyone else as much as I love you.
And Umibozu just hasn't opened up his heart to that kind of love.
Yeah. So it's sad. I hope that Taki ends up very happy with Kasumi, because he loved Umibozu she loved Umibozu so much. Oh, I just wish Umibozu would take a cat.
That'll be character growth for him if we ever see him with a cat.
Yeah.
And so next time on the show, we're going to see, it's basically Baywatch, because we're going to get ski-doos, we're going to get jet skis going around, and people shooting people on...
Sea-doos.
Sea-doos. Yeah.
But also, knockoff Jean Clouseau?
Jacques Cousteau.
I don't know what his name is. Also,
but you heard it a lot growing up.
Also, knockoff Jacques Cousteau.
Yes. We're going to have him in there, too.
And also, he's got a daughter.
Hot daughter. Rio's going to try and get in there.
Yeah, don't say it like that.
It's how he would put it. I'm not happy with it either.
You were happy to say it.
I'm just trying to give an accurate description.
Alright, fine. So come back next time when we cover the 7th episode of City Hunter 3, Love is Diving, when a beauty puts on a swimsuit.
And if you want to catch us outside this podcast, you can always find us both over on most social media. I'm at JoshKnightTheFirst.
And I'm at MarzGurl. Thank you all so much for listening to our 122nd episode of MokkoriPlay. And if you don't come back next episode, Josh is gonna sink.
In what? The LA River?
Just stand up.
Yeah, it's like 2 centimeters deep. That's it.
Then why won't you stand up? Why are you sinking?
No, I will stand up for myself.
Good.
In the river.
Yeah.